She is on her way.
All right. All right. You may be seated. Good afternoon. This is the time set for the 5 p.m. initial appearance calendar for May 27th of 2025. The court's orders for the taking of fingerprints and DNA samples made on the 1st of this month will apply to all matters on this calendar. I will be calling each of you up to the podium one by one, where I will ask you for your first and last name and your date of birth. I will then advise you as to whether or not, I will advise you as to why you are here, whether or not an attorney has been appointed to represent you, what your upcoming court dates will be, what your bond is if you are eligible for bond, and what your release conditions are. Some of you may have some questions while I'm providing this advisement to you. I would just ask that you hold your questions until I complete that advisement. The first person that I'm going to call to the podium is Tyrese Trotter. And Michael Sierra, will you please have a seat in the chair? Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Tyrese Trotter, 8/11/92.
You are here today for two matters. You have one matter is a warrant out of El Centro Justice Court, and then you are here on a new case. On the new case, you were charged with one count of burglary in the second degree, a Class 3 felony. I did find probable cause as to that offense, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You have a status conference hearing on June 3rd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on June 5th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $25,000. If you are able to post bond, you cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime, you cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victims, and you cannot possess any weapons. As to your warrant out of El Centro Justice Court, I did appoint an attorney to represent you in that matter. You have an arraignment hearing on May 30th at 8:30. You do have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $50. That's just a placeholder bond so that if you are still in our custody at the time of that hearing, that you will get transported for that hearing. This completes, please be advised that if you post bond, you do have to comply with all your release conditions and appear for your court date. Failure to do so would result in a forfeiture of any bond that you post. Warrants will issue for your arrest and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of this afternoon. If you have no questions for me regarding release conditions, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you. Mr. Sierra, will you please come to the podium, and Mr. Aguilera, will you please have a seat in the chair? Sir, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Michael P. Sierra, 5/20/78.
Giselle, I think I need to make a correction on this. So I just need a moment. I'll be with you in just a minute. Actually, Mr. Sierra, will you have a seat in the chair? And Mr. Trotter, can you please come to the podium? Come back to the podium. I need to fix his order. Okay, his order is corrected. Mr. Trotter, I realized that I gave you the wrong bond amount. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $5,000.
$5,000?
$5,000. The remainder of my order is that you cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime. You can't contact any victims, and you cannot possess any weapons. All of those remain the same. But I did amend your bond.
Would this be 10% or just 5?
It's 10% of the $5,000.
So 500?
Pardon me? 500? No, 500. Yeah. So we're going to give you the new order.
$50 one and
Okay, now, so you can go ahead. I'm done, Mr. Trotter. So now you have all the information that you need. If you'll please go have a seat. And Mr. Sierra, you may come into the courtroom now. Okay. And if you'll please state your first and last name and your date of birth.
Michael P. Sierra, 52078.
You were here today. You have a one new case, and then you have a warrant. Or you have not a warrant, but you do have a violation of probation. I'm going to talk to you first about the new case. You were charged with one count of attempted burglary in the second degree, a Class 3 felony, and that's attempted. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. I'm so sorry. I did find probable cause. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You have a status conference hearing on June 3rd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on June 5th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $5,000. If you are able to postpone, you cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime, you cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victims, and you cannot possess any weapons, and you must contact your probation officer within 72 hours of your release. As to your violation of probation, I appointed an attorney to represent you in that matter. You have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on June 3rd at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. So between your two cases, you have a total secured appearance bond of $5,500. If you are able to postpone, you must comply with all of your release conditions. You must appear to all your court dates. Failure to do so would result in the forfeiture of any bond that you post, and warrants would issue for your arrest. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of this evening. If you have no questions for me, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork.
So if I got questions, what?
Do you have questions regarding release conditions?
I mean, as far as attempt burglary, I don't understand that. Like that.
So that's why I've appointed an attorney to represent you. Once you meet with your attorney, they'll explain the charge to you.
And it's a felony?
Yes.
Attempt burglary, that's a felony.
It's a Class 3 felony.
I don't understand that. I don't even.
Okay, so like I said, I appointed an attorney to represent you. I'm not here to give you legal advice. Okay. I'm just here to tell you what you've been charged with.
Okay.
And when your court dates are, whether or not an attorney has been appointed to you, and what your release conditions are.
Can I answer one more question?
Mm-hmm.
Ma'am, I just did 17 and a half years.
I'm aware of that.
I just did that, and I was on my way back home.
So you need to start talking. You're about to start talking about your case, and that's what you should not do. I'm aware of your history.
Nah.
I made a probable cause finding on the charge, and I appointed an attorney to represent you. So when you meet with your attorney can advise you as to the legal value of your case and explain the charge to you.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Aguilar, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Bradford, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, Ms. Aguilar. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Yeah, it's Agripina Aguilar, 420 and 72.
You are here today because a grand jury charged you with 1 count of possession or use of a dangerous drug, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of possession of a narcotic drug for sale, a Class 2 felony. The date of these alleged offenses is May 23rd of 2024. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You do have an arraignment hearing on June 4th at 8:30. The grand jury warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $5,000. I am aware that you are in DOC custody. You will remain in our custody until this matter is completed. Then you will return to DOC custody. Posting your bond will not secure your release. It's just really so that you can continue to accrue credit for your time being served. Okay? So that takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of. If you'll step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you. Mr. Bradford, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Hornaday, if you'll please have a seat in the chair.
Who was the first one, Your Honor?
Ronald Bradford.
Bradford.
I did not refresh my screen. I didn't realize I moved this to the end. Mr. Bradford, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Ronald Bradford, April 4th, 1976.
You are here today. There is a warrant that you are a fugitive of justice. I believe that this warrant is out of Kentucky, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, this warrant is out of Kentucky. As a fugitive of justice, you have a right to an extradition hearing. You would be entitled to bond. You have the right to hire your own attorney. One would not be appointed to you. Extradition requires a warrant to be signed by both the governor here in Arizona and the governor in Kentucky. This process can take between 60 and 90 days. Did you have the opportunity to read the placard that talked to you about this? Okay. So you can also waive an extradition hearing. If you choose to do that, you would not be eligible for bond. Kentucky would have 30 days from tomorrow to come pick you up. Do you know how you would like to proceed?
But they won't happen to after whatever I'm charged with right now is completed, is done first before they come get me with it.
I don't understand what you're saying, sir.
I'm saying, like, I think I have charges here already.
So if you have charges here, then you would not be eligible for, you would not be returned to Kentucky until your charges here are resolved.
Yeah, I think I went to court over this already this morning.
He had 2 FOJ matters.
Okay.
He had 5 a.m. court on that FOJ. Then he had a local charge of $500, and now he has another FOJ out of Kentucky.
Okay, so I think you have to, so your FOJ that you were seen on this morning, that matter was out of, they were both out of Kentucky. You just had 2 extradition warrants.
Yeah.
So this is the second one. You just weren't seen on it this morning.
I just can't understand, were there 2 warrants?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And in this morning, you chose not to waive your rights. So it appears that you would probably like to do the same today. And if that is the case, you would have a court date on June 9th at 1:30. And this warrant that I have for today, it has a cash-only bond in the amount of $10,000.
Yeah. So just say what I waived my rights so they can come get me if they want.
Well, you didn't waive your rights on the first one.
The judge did it upon his own. That's what he felt like it was best or something. I just listened to him, he just did it.
I know, but I don't understand that because typically we all do things the same. So just like I'm asking you, I gave you all the information and asked you what you would like to do.
He didn't give me the option.
I don't think that you were seen by a he this morning.
It was a him.
It was Commissioner Beck this morning?
No, Commissioner Skip.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and have you, have a seat because I need to figure out if you have changed your mind, if I can go ahead and amend that order as well. I will just take care of everything all at one time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you'll just go ahead and have a seat and let me go ahead and finish up the rest of the calendar, and then I'll see what I can do, okay? Mr. Hornaday, can you please come to the podium? And Mr. Sturdy, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Sir, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
My name is Kenyon Hornaday. Date of birth is January 12, 2000. Before we start, if I could state that I have moderate to severe hearing loss. I do wear hearing.
We'll get you a device. So he's not able to hear. He needs the she needs the hearing device. He can't hear. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we're going to just start from the beginning, so I'll make sure that we've done everything with you being able to hear. So can you tell me your first and last name and your date of birth?
Kenyon Hornaday. Date of birth is January 12, 2000.
Thank you. You are here today because a warrant was issued, a probation violation warrant was issued. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You do have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on June 3rd at 8:30. That warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $2,500 secured appearance. If you are able to post bond, you have the following release conditions. You cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victim. You cannot possess any weapons, and you need to contact your probation officer within 72 hours of your release. Failure to comply with your release conditions or appear for your court date would result in the forfeiture of any bond that you post. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of today. If you have no questions for me, if you'll step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork.
Okay.
There's a time critical being added
With what?
with,
Okay.
they haven't accepted it yet.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, we're Mr. Sturdy, will you please come into the courtroom and come to the podium? And Ms. Foster, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Jeffrey Kyle, 381088.
You were here today due to a probation violation warrant. I did appoint an attorney to represent you. I do have a question for you. When did you go into DOC custody?
What did I do to get into DOC?
No, when did you go into their custody?
Oh, in October 11th.
October 11th of 2024?
Yeah, it's been a little over 7 months, I think.
Okay. All right. I just needed to...
So is this something my probation officer did?
This warrant was issued prior to you going into the reasons for the PPR was that you did not report to probation as directed on September 18th and September 20th.
So that's the reason for the probation violation.
Oh, so I have a warrant for not reporting?
So that's a violation of your probation terms. So that's why the probation violation warrant was issued.
Okay.
So I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You do have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on June 3rd at 8:30. You do have the warrant did have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. I'm treating that as a placeholder bond because I am aware you're in DOC custody. You will remain in our custody, in the sheriff's custody until the completion of this case. Once this case is completed, then you'll return to DOC custody, but the bond will allow you to continue to accrue credit for time served. It will not secure your release if you're not ready for release from DOC.
What would the bond allow?
$500.
I mean, what would it allow? I understand it wouldn't get me out, but you said it would allow me.
So because you are in DOC custody, but you're being held here until this matter is completed, so while you're here with the bond, it will allow you to continue to accrue credit for your time served in DOC.
Okay.
Okay?
And so one more question, please. So I'm going to be here at least a few weeks then, until at least until June 3rd, right?
You'll be here at least until June 3rd, and that hearing is a revocation possible disposition hearing, so everything could potentially be resolved.
It could all be done that day, and
Mm-hmm.
then after that, then maybe a day or two before I'm back to DOC? Okay, because this whole process is all new to me. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Ms. Foster, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Smith, will you please have a seat in the chair? Ms. Foster, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
I can't hear. I have a hearing problem.
Ms. Foster is not able to hear us. Can we get her the hearing device? You have to step away from the microphone.
Okay.
Are you able to hear?
Yeah.
Okay, can you please tell me your first and last name and your date of birth?
Mary Foster, 122562.
You were here today because a warrant was issued when you failed to appear for a court date. An attorney was already appointed to represent you in this matter. You do have a status conference hearing on June 3rd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on June 5th at 8:30. The warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. If you are able to post bond, you do need to appear for your court date. Failure to do so would result in the forfeiture of any bond that you posted. A warrant would issue for your arrest and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of this evening. If you have no questions for me regarding release, if you will please step to your left, the officer is going to give you your paperwork.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Smith, will you please come to the podium? Hello, Mr. Smith, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Brian Smith, 92564.
Thank you. You are here today for two matters. The first one is that you have a warrant that was issued in Superior Court when you failed to attend a court date. An attorney was already appointed to represent you in that matter. You do have a status conference hearing on June 5th at 8:30. You have a cash-only appearance bond in the amount of $2,500.
Man, is there any way that, because I have a heart condition, and that's why this all occurred, because I couldn't make it. I was in the emergency room, and I even called him and told him, and I sent my paperwork to the lawyer, and he never got back with me. And I have a hard time breathing right now, and I got chest pains right now, and I could take all kinds of medicine.
Sir, this warrant was issued almost a year ago.
I understand.
So you had almost a year to take care of it.
But ma'am, I'm homeless and everything.
Okay, so I'm not going to argue with you. I'm just letting you know that this, due to the age of the warrant and the amount of the warrant, I believe that you did not appear for a sentencing.
Okay,
So
can
I am gonna confirm the warrant. I'm not changing it.
Can they
and
send me
then
to
at
the
the-
hospital? Because I have.
Do you recall at the beginning of this hearing, I asked for you to please hold all your questions and statements until I finished everything?
I'm sorry.
Okay, so on your second matter, you have a warrant out of San Marcos Justice Court. I appointed an attorney to represent you in that matter. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $50. That is a placeholder bail, bond that will allow for you to be transported for that hearing if you are still in custody on the first matter. Failure to appear for your court date will result in the forfeiture of any bond that you post, and warrants will issue for your arrest again. I've heard what you've said. I'm not changing the bonds. They are set that way for a reason. When they're in that amount, there is a reason why the judge issued a bond in that amount, and so I'm not changing the order.
Okay.
So,
Could they send me to the hospital? I mean, I have chest pain.
so
I take all
if
kinds
you
of
just
medication.
I know that they have medical providers. While you're in custody, you probably need to speak to somebody back there so they can take over your care while you were in the custody of the sheriff's office.
I did, but I don't think they have the pills that I need and the insulin.
So I believe that that's all that I can do for you
So how much?
at this time.
So what is it I got to do to get out?
Pay $2,550.
Cash?
Cash. So I believe that that's all that we have to talk about. If you will please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you. Mr. Randall, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Moreno, if you will please have a seat in the chair. Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Hi, my name is Ramon Randalls, born on March 22nd, 1989.
Thank you. You are here today because you have a new case, and then you have a probation violation warrant. On the new case, you were charged with one count of possession of a dangerous drug, a Class 4 felony. I did find probable cause as to that offense, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You have a status conference hearing on June 3rd at 8:30, a preliminary hearing on June 5th at 8:30. You do have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $50. As to your warrant for probation violation, I appointed an attorney to represent you in that matter. You have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on June 3rd at 8:30. That warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $100. Between the two cases, you have a total secured appearance bond in the amount of $600. If you are able to post bond, you cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime. You must appear for your court date. Failure to comply with your release conditions or appear for your court dates would result in the forfeiture of any bond that you post. Warrants will issue for your arrest, and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of today. If you have no questions for me regarding release, if you will please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you.
Yes.
Mr. Moreno, will you please come to the podium, and Ms. Monteroso, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. So, sir, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
José Reyes, July 17, 1993.
You were here today on two matters. You have a warrant at a superior court for failing to appear for a court date, and then you have a warrant out of Tolleson Municipal Court. On your failure to appear, an attorney has already been appointed to represent you in this matter. You do have a status conference hearing on June 5th at 8:30, and that warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $250. As to your warrant out of Tolleson Municipal Court, I did appoint an attorney to represent you in that matter. You do have an arraignment hearing on June 2nd at 8:30, and you have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $50. If you are able to post bond, you must appear for your court dates. Failure to do so would result in the forfeiture of any bond that you post. Warrants will issue for your arrest again, and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of today. If you have no questions for me, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Monteroso, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Leonard Martinez, will you please have a seat in the chair? Hello, ma'am. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Lucretia Monteroso, 9/26/93.
You are here today because a direct complaint was filed where you were charged with 1 count of possession of a narcotic drug, a Class 4 felony, 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony, and 1 count of shoplifting, a Class 1 misdemeanor. The date of these alleged offenses is May 23rd of 2023. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You do have a status conference hearing on June 3rd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on June 5th at 8:30. You do have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $50. It is a placeholder bond. I am aware that you're in DOC custody. Paying the bond will not secure your release. You will remain in the sheriff's custody until the completion of this case, and then you'll be returned to DOC custody. The placeholder bond allows you to continue to accrue credit for time served while you are here in MCSO custody. So that takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of today. Do you have no questions for me?
No, I don't.
Okay, so if you'll step to your left, officer will give you your paperwork.
Thank you.
Mr. Martinez, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Luke, will you please have a seat in the chair? Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Leonard Dominic Martinez, 9/29/1985.
You are here today because you have 2 probation violation warrants. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in both matters. You have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on June 3rd at 8:30. One of your warrants has a secured appearance bond in the amount of $750. The other warrant is a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. So between the 2 cases, you have a total secured appearance bond of $1,250. If you are able to post bond, you do need to appear for your court date. Failure to do so will result in the forfeiture of any bond that you post. Warrants will issue for your arrest again, and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of this afternoon. If you have no questions for me, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you. Mr. Luke, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Zelkowski, if you'll please have a seat in the chair.
Hi.
Hello, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Yes, Eric Luke. I was born January 24th, 1988.
You were here today because a probation violation warrant was issued. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You do have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on June 3rd at 8:30. The warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. If you are able to post bond, you do need to appear for your court date. Failure to appear for your court date would result in the forfeiture of any bond that you posted. Another warrant would be issued for your arrest, and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of this afternoon. If you have no questions for me regarding release, if you will please step to your left, officer will give you your paperwork.
So you're saying I'm going to jail for a month?
No, your next court date is going to be on June 3rd at 8:30. That's next Tuesday. And that's a probation revocation possible disposition hearing. So your case could be resolved on that day. I don't know what the outcomes are going to be, but your next court date will be next Tuesday.
So why did I have to go to jail? I don't think I really did anything wrong.
Do you have a secure? Okay. So I think that I've answered all the questions that I can answer for you. I don't think that I'm really going to give you an answer that you want to hear. The warrant that's what the judge issued when the violation of probation warrant was issued. So
I do have one thing to say. Considering that the U.S. government, as a Navajo, I have a treaty with the U.S. government, with my ancestors.
I don't believe that your offense occurred on tribal land.
I just don't understand why I had to go to jail or
Okay, so I've appointed an attorney to represent you, and your attorney can explain those things to you. My job here today is just to tell you that while you were here, whether or not an attorney has been appointed to you, what your next court dates are, and what your bond is. And I've done all of those things. I don't believe that I can further answer any of the questions that you may have. So I believe...
I like to explain myself.
We're done.
I listened to you.
And I gave you an opportunity. I don't
No,
think
you haven't.
I have. You weren't interested in hearing
But why do I
anything that I have to say.
why do I have to obey your authority or theirs?
I don't believe I'm berating anybody's authority. I've done what I'm supposed to do.
Considering the U.S. government has
happy.
not fulfilled
You're
the
not
treaty
happy with what
obligations
it
to
is
the
that
American
I'm saying
Indian,
to you.
I don't have to recognize your authority or
Okay.
theirs.
That's your choice.
Why did I have to go to jail? I did nothing wrong.
You have a bond, you can post bonding and get out.
Because the U.S. government
Sir,
has not fulfilled the treaties with
So
my
if you will
people,
please step to your left.
I'm allowed to revert back to savage.
So
I do not have to obey your authority or theirs. The power of the land is given by the American Indian to the U.S. government. You do not, by not fulfilling the treaty obligation, power of the land reverts back to the American Indian.
Here, hold on to your paperwork.
Why did I have to obey?
Huh?
Why did I have to go to jail?
Whatever your warrant was for. You have $500.
Yeah, but it's not fair. I don't have 500.
I don't have 500 either. You good, shoot? All right.
I'll call it back in.
Thank you.
Hey, can you find me
You know about the add-on, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So we do have a house call then.
Oh, he's a house call?
Oh, yeah.
What's the reason for him being a house call?
It says unable to function, and he goes by Ashley.
Hi.
It's still 7.
Okay, Mr. Selkowski, if you will please come to the podium, and Mr. Thompson, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, sir. Can you tell me your first and last name and your date of birth?
Travis Zolkowski, 07/26/1996.
You were here today because you have 2 probation violation warrants. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in both matters. You do have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on June 3rd at 8:30. One of your warrants has a secured appearance bond in the amount of $100. The other warrant has a secured appearance bond in the amount of $250. So your total secured appearance bond is $350. If you are able to post bond, make sure you show up to court. If you don't, if you fail to show up to court, any bond that you posted would be forfeited. A warrant would issue for your arrest, and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of. If you have no questions for me, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Mr. Thompson, if you will please come to the podium, and Mr. Sadat, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, sir.
Hi.
Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
William R. Thompson III, 2/23/1982.
You were here today because of a probation violation warrant. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You do have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on June 3rd at 8:30.
Your warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $250. If you are able to post bond, it is important that you appear for your court date. Failure to do so would result in the forfeiture of any bond that you post. Another warrant would issue for your arrest and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of this afternoon. If you have no questions for me regarding release conditions, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Gavin Sadat and Daniel Gonzalez, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello. Can you please tell me your first and last name and your date of birth?
Yeah, it's Gavin Sadat, 07/24/1996.
You are here today on a new case. You were charged with 1 count of possession of a narcotic drug, a Class 4 felony, and 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. I did not find probable cause as to the possession of a narcotic drug. I did find probable cause as to possession of drug paraphernalia. I appointed an attorney to represent you. You have a status conference hearing on June 11th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on June 13th at 8:30. I am inclined to release you to pretrial services. You do have to promise to appear for your court date. Do you promise to appear?
Yes.
You have the following release conditions. You cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime is one of them, as well as the release conditions as set forth. For pretrial services, failure to comply with your release conditions or to appear for your court dates will result in a warrant issuing for your arrest and bond will be imposed. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, so that takes care of everything I needed to advise you of. If you have no questions for me, if you will please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Mr. Gonzalez, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Ray, will you please have a seat in the chair? Hello, sir.
Hello, Your Honor.
Please state your first and last name and your date of birth.
Daniel Gonzalez, and my date of birth is April 4th, 1982.
You are here today because you have 3 warrants out of Buckeye Municipal Court. Due to the nature of the charge, you are not entitled to court-appointed counsel. You will have an arraignment hearing on June 10th at 2 o'clock, I believe, for all 3 matters. I am inclined to release you on your own recognizance, but you do have to promise to appear for your court date. Do you promise to appear for your court date?
I do, Your Honor. I really do. I will be there. I promise.
If you do not appear for your court date, each of your warrant has a recommended bond in the amount of $500. So if you don't appear for your court date, you are looking at least $1,500 in bond.
I will be there, Your Honor. Okay. I promise I will be there.
Okay, that takes care of everything that I have to advise you of today. If you have no questions for me, if you step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork.
No, thank you, Your Honor. Thank you for everything. Appreciate it.
Mr. Ray, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Augustin, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
John Ray, 1684.
Thank you. You are here today because you have a warrant out of El Centro Justice Court. Due to the nature of the charge, you are not entitled to court-appointed counsel. You do have an arraignment hearing on June 12th at 8:30. I am going to release you on your own recognizance. You do have to promise to appear for your court date. Do you promise to appear?
Yes.
Please be advised that if you fail to appear for your court date, another warrant will issue for your arrest, and the recommended bond is, for this warrant, the recommended bond was $500. So if you don't show up to your court date, that's going to be the bond that will be imposed if you get picked up again.
Okay.
Okay, that takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of.
All right.
Mr. Augustin, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Perkins, will you please have a seat in the chair? Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Brandon Lee Augustin, February 23rd, 1990.
You are here today because a grand jury charged you with 1 count of sale or transportation of dangerous drugs, a Class 2 felony. The date of this alleged offense is June 26th of 2024. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You do have an arraignment hearing on June 4th at 8:30. I am going to release you to pretrial services today. You do have to promise to appear for your court date. Do you promise to appear for your court date?
Yes, ma'am.
Failure to appear for your court date will result in a warrant issuing for your arrest. That takes care of everything. Oh, and a bond will be imposed. That takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of this evening. If you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork.
Thank you.
Ms. Perkins, will you please come into the courtroom? Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Jaden Perkins, April 12, 2000.
You are here today because you have a warrant out of Goodyear Municipal Court. Due to the nature of the charge, you are not entitled to court-appointed counsel. You do have an arraignment hearing on June 11th at 1 o'clock. I am inclined to release you on your own recognizance. You do have to promise to appear for your court date. Do you promise to appear for your court date?
Yes, ma'am.
Failure to appear for your court date will result in a warrant issuing for your arrest and a bond will be imposed. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Turner, will you please come to the podium? Have you heard from Karina? Have you heard from Karina?
She said that they could pull the PD backyard, so something that.
Yeah, I think she was listening to it also when I went. Mr. Turner, can you please tell me your first and last name and your date of birth?
Adam Turner, 3/12/87.
Thank you. You are here today because you have two matters. You have one direct complaint where you were charged with one count of possession of a narcotic drug, a Class 4 felony, and one count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. The date of these alleged offenses is September 5th of 2024. They did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter, and you have a status conference hearing on June 11th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on June 13th at 8:30. I'm inclined to release you to pretrial services. You do have to promise to appear for your court dates. Do you promise to appear for those court dates?
Yes, ma'am.
And then you have a warrant out of Santan Justice Court. Due to the nature of the offense, you are not entitled to court-appointed counsel. You do have an arraignment hearing on June 10th at 9 o'clock. I am inclined to release you on your own recognizance in that matter. You do have to promise to appear for court for that. Do you promise to appear?
Yes, ma'am. So I'm gonna go home today?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
You do
wow.
have to promise to appear for your court dates
Yes,
for both
ma'am.
matters. So please understand that if you fail to appear for your court dates, warrants will issue for your arrest and bonds will be imposed. For your Santan Justice Court matter, the recommended bond was $680. So
Yes, ma'am.
I would highly recommend that you show up to that court date.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? That takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of today.
Yes, ma'am.
But for the time being, he did pick the hearing. No, he went over it. But did he ask for the that's the part I'm pretty sure that's behavior for him.
We'll be right back. I just have to follow up on something for Mr. Bradford.
All right. Well, there was a last minute one. Yeah, started this court with no house calls. Everyone could hear perfectly fine. And then I think it was 2 or 3 people all of a sudden came in and they're like, I can't hear. Can't hear. So everyone was, yeah, amazing.
For the house call, she normally does it on the iPad.
Yeah.
The link is ready.
Yeah, okay.
Water
Yes, that Bradford, that other FOJ. He had an FOJ this morning at 5. He didn't sign a waiver. So he feels pretty knowledgeable on the FOJ. Well, he said that he didn't get the chance to.
Mr. Bradford, if you'll please come to the podium. At this time, the court is recalling Mr. Bradford on both his 5 p.m. matter and his 5 a.m. matter. He was seen earlier. He was seen on the 5 a.m. initial appearance calendar today. So my understanding, Mr. Bradford, is that you want to waive your right to extradition on both matters. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you some questions before we get started. You did have the opportunity to review the paperwork regarding your rights.
Yes.
Okay, and you understand that you don't have to sign the paperwork. Do you understand that? You don't have to sign the paperwork to waive your right to act. No one's forcing you to do that. Do you understand that you don't have to do it?
Okay.
So I'm asking you these questions to make sure that you understand. If you're not able to understand, then I'm not going to be able to waive your rights. So what I'm saying to you, my first question was, did you read all the paperwork regarding those rights?
I have a problem with my reading comprehension.
So then what I explained to you earlier is that you do have a right to an extradition hearing. Do you understand that?
What does that mean?
Okay, so this may be the reason why the waiver could not be done. If you're not able to answer the questions or understand what's going on, then you don't have the ability to waive your rights to extradition. So if you're not able to answer the questions or you're not able to understand, then I cannot waive your rights today, and I will have to set a hearing for you.
You waiting for rights for them to come get me?
That's basically what I'm saying. What I'm trying to explain to you is that you do have a right to have an extradition hearing. That is the process that you have to go through for them to come and get you. Mm-hmm. So you have a hearing. Do you understand you have a right to that hearing?
Oh, okay. So how long will it take for the hearing?
Your hearing is going to be on June 9th at 1:30 for both matters if you don't waive.
Okay.
So now you were confusing me because when I saw you earlier, you said that you wanted to waive. So if whatever decision you make at this time, that's it. I'm not seeing you anymore, and you will not have the right to change. You will not have the opportunity to change your mind again.
Okay. Yeah, I want to waive my rights.
You want to waive your rights? Okay. So now I'm going to ask you the following questions. The first question is, do you understand that you don't have to sign the paperwork, that you do have the right to have an extradition hearing? Do you understand that?
Yes.
And do you waive your right to that?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to hire a lawyer at your own expense?
Yes.
Do you understand that you have the right to demand that the governor's warrant be signed by both the governors in Arizona and Kentucky before you are returned?
That's within 60 days.
That's between 60 and 90 days?
Yes.
Okay. And do you understand that you have a right to bail?
Yes. I have a right to bail. Okay, yes.
Okay. And so I just want to make sure you understand that if you choose to waive, then you waive your right, you give up your right to bail.
Okay, I ain't going to give them my rights.
Okay.
If I can get bail, you say I can get bail, yes.
So, on the first one, I'm so sorry, on the first one, you are not, you're not bondable in that one. So on the first one, you're not bondable. The one that you were seen on this morning, you're not eligible for bond. On the one that you're being seen on today, right now, you have a cash bond in the amount of, I believe it was, you have a cash bond in the amount of $10,000. So even if you were able to post the $10,000, that would not secure your release because you're being held not bondable on the matter that you were seen on this morning.
A waiver rights.
Honestly, Mr. Bradford, you've gone back and forth multiple times, and so I'm not even confident. So the court is making a record that Mr. Bradford, when he was seen earlier on this calendar, he asserted that he did not understand, and he was not given the opportunity to choose whether or not he wanted to waive his rights. The court did look into that and invited the opportunity for him to have that matter recalled because he indicated that he wanted to waive his rights in the matter that I am seeing him now on the 5 p.m. calendar. The court did ask him multiple times whether or not he read the paperwork and did he understand. When Mr. Bradford asserted that he had some issue with comprehension, the court did take time to try to explain each of the conditions of a waiver. After going through the questions for a waiver, in the middle of that, Mr. Bradford had then said that he does not want to waive his rights. After advising Mr. Bradford that he is not eligible for bond in the matter that he was seen on the 5 a.m. calendar, he is now asserting that he wants to waive. Because due to the indecisiveness of Mr. Bradford, the court is not confident that Mr. Bradford really understands what he wants to do today. So the court will not waive his rights because assertions that he has already made that he has some trouble with comprehension. So Mr. Bradford, you will be seen on June 9th at 1:30 in this matter. You have a cash-only appearance bond in the amount of $10,000. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of today. If you will please step to your left. Did I print? Did I?
No, I'm going to.
Okay. I'm not sure if I signed it. Did I sign this one? Okay. And then do we need to do anything more with the 5 a.m. or just leaving it alone?
I just need to
Re-sign it?
resign it and then complete it.
All right, Ron, have a seat over there and I'll bring your paperwork. You'll be given an opportunity to sign a waiver when you go back to court. Again. This is your paperwork from the 5 a.m. one. It shows that you're not eligible on that. This is the paperwork for your other one, you just got one, and then the next court date will be Tuesday. Would you please consider that, okay? And you have the opportunity to discuss with your public defender what you want to do. All right.
Okay, and then I'm just reviewing the add-on right now. Sorry.
I thought we had a golden docket today.
Okay, and I just said it. Mr. Kenneth Wethington, date of birth August 30th, 1971, is here on a new case. He is not physically, he has to be cleared out, Mr. Bradford.
No, that's the stuff, and you got the, oh, that's right. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much, I appreciate that.
Mr. Wethington is not present in person due to the inability to function. He was charged with 1 count of failure to register as a sex offender, class 4 felony, sex offender failure to register and confirm ID, a class 6 felony, and 1 count of false reporting to law enforcement, a class 1 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause as to all 3 counts, and I did appoint an attorney to represent him. He will have a status conference hearing on June 3rd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on June 5th at 8:30. He has a secured appearance bond in the amount of $5,000. When I meet with Mr. Wethington, he will be advised that he cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime, nor can he possess any weapons. He will further be advised that if he is able to post bond and he fails to comply with the release conditions or appear for his court date, then any bond that he posts would be forfeited, a warrant would issue for his arrest, and additional bond would be imposed. After I meet with Mr. Wethington, if any changes are needed, I will do so either on the record or in writing. This concludes our 5 p.m. initial appearance calendar, and we stand in recess until 8 p.m.
Are we gonna do the LETs last, or you don't know?
LETs are last.
Okay, perfect. He'll end up there, I'm sure.
All right.
Good evening, you may be seated. Good evening, this is the time set for the 8 p.m. initial appearance calendar for May 27th of 2025. The court's orders for the taking of fingerprints and DNA samples made on the 1st of this month will apply to all matters on this calendar. I'm going to call each of you up to the podium one by one, where I will ask you for your first and last name and your date of birth. I will then advise you as to why you are here, whether or not an attorney has been appointed to you, what your upcoming court dates will be, what your bond will be if you are eligible for bond, and your release conditions. Some of you may have some questions while I'm providing this advisement to you. I would just ask that you hold your questions until I complete that advisement. In addition, you are cautioned that your questions should only be related to your release conditions. Any legal questions you have should be directed towards your attorney. So I am going to call Mr. Duncan to the podium, and Mr. Jones, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Seth Duncan, October 27, 2002.
You are here on 3 matters. You have a new case, you have a warrant for failing to appear for a hearing in Superior Court, and then you have a warrant out of the East Mesa Justice Court. I'm going to first talk to you about your new case, where you were charged with 1 count of resisting arrest with physical force, a Class 6 felony, 1 count of possessing a deadly defaced weapon, a Class 6 felony, and 1 count of criminal trespass in the 3rd degree, a Class 3 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause as to all 3 counts, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You will have a status conference hearing on June 2nd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on June 5th at 8:30. Because you were on felony release at the time that these alleged offenses occurred, you're not eligible for bond by statute. Then, as to your warrant for failing to appear for your court date, an attorney was already appointed to represent you in that matter. You do have a status conference hearing on June 3rd at 8:30, and that warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $50. And as to your East Mesa Justice Court matter, I appointed an attorney to represent you in that matter. You will have an arraignment hearing on May 30th at 8:30, and you have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $50. It's just a placeholder bond to ensure that you get transported to that hearing if you are still in NCSO custody. I would also caution you against attempting to post bond. That will not secure your release because you're not bondable in the new case. So any attempts to post bond should be after you have your evidentiary hearing. So that takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of this evening. If you have no questions for me regarding release conditions, if you will please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you. Mr. Jones, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Moreno, will you please have a seat in the chair? Hello, sir.
Hello, how you doing?
Can you please tell me your first and last name and your date of birth?
Philip Jones, 2/10/1980.
You are here today because a grand jury charged you with one count of custodial interference involving domestic violence, a class 4 felony, and one count of this was not labeled right. It should be. Mr. Jones, I'm going to have you go back into the just go back into holding. I'm going to call you up later. This wasn't right.
Moreno? Come on, man.
Thank you. Mr. Moreno, can you please tell me your first and last name and your date of birth?
Sorry, this is Moreno.
Can you tell me your date of birth?
John 03.
Mr. Moreno, are you okay?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't hear you. So I'm going to ask you, is your date of birth January 3rd, 2003? Yes?
Yeah.
You were here today on a new case. You were charged with one count of aggravated assault, a class 5 felony, one count of resisting arrest, physical force, a class 6 felony, one count of theft or control of property, a class 1 misdemeanor, and one count of criminal trespass in the 3rd degree, a class 3 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause as to all counts. Mr. Moreno? Mr. Moreno?
Moreno.
I did find probable cause as to all of those counts, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You have a status conference hearing on June 3rd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on June 5th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $2,500. If you are able to post bond, you cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime, initiate any contact. Mr. Moreno, you cannot possess any weapons. Failure to comply with your release conditions or appearing for your court dates will result in the forfeiture of any bond you post. A warrant would issue for your arrest, and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of this evening. If you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Mr. Seraficio, if you will please come to the podium, and Mr. Nunez, will you please have a seat in the chair? Hello, sir. Can you please tell me your first and last name and your date of birth?
Vincent Seraficio of September 21st, 1987.
You were here today on a new case. You were charged with one count of theft of a credit card, classified felony, and theft or control of lost property, a class 1 misdemeanor. I did find probable cause as to both counts, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You will have a status conference hearing on June 3rd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on June 5th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $2,500. If you are able to post bond, you cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime, and you cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victim. Failure to comply with your release conditions will result in the forfeiture of any bond. Failure to comply with the release conditions or appear for your court dates would result in the forfeiture of any bond that you post. A warrant would issue for your arrest, and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of. If you have no questions for me, you'll step to your left. Officer will give you your paperwork.
Thank you.
Mr. Nunez, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Davis, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, sir. Can you please?
How are you doing?
I am good. You were here. Can you please tell me your first and last name and your date of birth?
Matthew Nunez, 12/16/82.
You are here today on 3 matters. Excuse me for a second. Number 23, and you'll actually have to put on the record for I mean, All right, so do I have to? Because on my side it's still showing up.
Try refreshing.
So, do I have to go over? No, or do? Okay. So you were here today on 4 matters. You have a warrant out of Santan Justice Court. You have a grand jury warrant and an out-of-county warrant. So I'm first going to start with your grand jury warrant. In that matter, you were charged with 1 count of theft or of unauthorized service or property, a Class 2 felony. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in that matter. You do have an arraignment hearing on June 4th at 8:30. That warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $900. Then as to your Then you have a probation violation warrant. I did appoint an attorney for you in that matter. However, I did no action that matter because this violation was preferenced upon the grand jury warrant, and it was charges that occurred prior to you being placed on probation.
Yes, ma'am.
Then you have a warrant out of Pinal County. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in that matter. You have an arraignment hearing on May 30th at 8:30. That warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $2,500, and your warrant out of Santan Justice Court. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in that matter, and you have an arraignment hearing on May 30th at 8:30, and you have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $50. That is a placeholder bond to ensure that you get transported to your hearing if you are still in custody at the time that that hearing occurs.
Yes, ma'am.
So you have a total secured appearance bond between the 3 cases. I believe it's $3,250. Your release conditions are that you cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime, you cannot initiate any contact with alleged victims, and you must appear for your court dates. Failure to comply with your release conditions or appear for your court dates would result in the forfeiture of any bond that you post. Warrants would issue for your arrest again, and additional bonds would be imposed. So this takes care of everything I have to advise you of.
Can I ask a question, ma'am? The one for the grand jury, what city is that out of?
I don't have the city on that warrant. It just says Superior Court, and it gives me the offense and the date.
Okay.
And so the date of that offense, just to be clear, is May 11th of 2022.
Okay, and then all the other stuff, I am on probation for all the ROC stuff, and I am paying all the restitution back, and I've gone to all my courts, and so all these other ones that keep popping up, this is the second time it happens, and I do speak to my probation officer. She tells me that they're all compiled, and I shouldn't have warrants on any of the other cities.
I can't see into Pinal County Superior
I
Court
understand.
system.
Okay.
So what you are saying may be true. I have no way to verify it.
Yes, ma'am.
It just came to us as that this is still an active, valid warrant. It looks like it was confirmed with Pinal County.
Yes, ma'am.
So I think you would have to address that there in Pinal County.
I understand. So how much do I need to pay to be able to get out?
So secured appearance bond for $32.50. I don't know, it's like $300 and something.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. And if I have the money to pay for myself, is there a way to get around that? Because all my family's in Texas and they're in San Antonio. I'm the only one here. So
I don't take care of
I apologize, ma'am. I appreciate it.
But I believe that they
Yes,
will
ma'am.
be able to assist you
I
with
understand.
that
Thank you.
information.
Sorry about that.
No worries. If that's it, you may step to your left.
Yeah, but then I'm
We'll give you your paperwork.
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, thank you.
Mr. Davis, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Jackaway or Jasaway, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Edison Davis,
And my birthday is 10/10/1967.
You are here today because you have two warrants. One of your warrants is out of Coconino County, and the other warrant you have is out of North Valley Justice Court. Your Coconino County Superior Court warrant, I did appoint an attorney to represent you in that matter. You have an arraignment hearing on May 30th at 8:30, and that warrant has a cash-only bond in the amount of $2,000. Then as to your North Valley Justice Court warrant, I did appoint an attorney to represent you in that matter. You have an arraignment hearing on May 29th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $50. So between your two cases, you have a total bond of $2,050. If you are able to post bond, you need to appear for your court dates. Failure to appear for your court dates would result in a forfeiture of any bond that you post. Warrants would issue for your arrest, and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of today. If you have no questions for me, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you. Mr. Jackaway or Jasaway, if you'll please come to the podium. Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Yes, my name is Lance Jakeway, born June 10th, 1980.
Thank you. You're here today because you have two warrants for failing to appear for court dates and one new case. I'm going to first talk to you about your new case. You were charged with one count of possession of a dangerous drug, a Class 4 felony, and one count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a Class 6 felony. I did find probable cause as to both counts, and I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You have a status conference hearing on June 3rd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on June 5th at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. As to your warrants for failing to appear, attorneys were already appointed to represent you in those matters. You have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on June 3rd at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500 per warrant. So your total secured appearance bond between the three cases is $1,500. If you are able to post bond, you cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime. You need to, and you must appear for all of your court dates. Failure to comply with your release conditions or appear for your court dates would result in the forfeiture of any bond that you post. Warrants will issue for your arrest, and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of this evening. If you have no questions for me, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your
Your Honor, I had today gotten a hold of the Justice Center where they had the court arraignments or whatever. I was running behind. I had some things to do throughout the week. I had gotten down there, and they told me that I might want to go to the municipal court. They were having
these are not municipal court warrants. These warrants are out of Superior Court, and they were issued last week.
I was having some problems. I have some issues right now with somebody using my identification.
That's not what the issue that you have here, sir. So right now, like what you're saying really is not, does not relate to the reasons why you were here. You have one new case that happened. The allegations are that those offenses occurred today, and your other two are warrants that are for a violation of probation. So I don't think we have anything more to talk about. So if you will please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you. Ms. Belcher, will you please come to the podium? And Catherine Castro, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Infinity Belcher, December 13, 1995.
You are here today because you have a warrant that was issued when you failed to appear for a court date. An attorney was already appointed to represent you in this matter. You have a status conference hearing on June 3rd at 8:30. The warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $1,000. If you're able to post bond, you must appear for your court date. Failure to do so would result in the forfeiture of any bonds that you post. A warrant would issue for your arrest, and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I have to advise you of today. If you have no questions for me regarding release, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you. Ms. Castro, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Gaines, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, ma'am. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Kevin Castro, August 31st, 2000.
You are here today because of a probation violation warrant. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You do have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on June 3rd at 8:30. The warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $100. If you are able to post bond, you must appear for your court date. Failure to do so would result in the forfeiture of any bond you post. A warrant would issue for your arrest and additional bond would be imposed. This takes care of everything that I have to advise you of this evening. If you have no questions for me, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Gaines, will you please come to the podium? And Ms. Casca, if you'll please have a seat in the chair. Hello, Mr. Gaines, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Or the Gaines, 8885.
Thank you. You are here today because a warrant was issued when you failed to appear for your court date. An attorney was already appointed to represent you in this matter. You have a status conference hearing on June 3rd at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on June 5th at 8:30. The warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. If you are able to post bond, you do need to appear for your court date. Failure to do so would result in the forfeiture of any bond you post. Another warrant would issue for your arrest and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I have to advise you of.
I have something to say. I was in the hospital. I couldn't make it. I didn't know I had court on the 1st. I had got shot, and I've been using substance, and I've been trying to get myself back together, and I'm withdrawing right now. I know that I had court when I had got told I had a warrant for my arrest today from the officers, and they brought me in here. If I would have knew, I would have came in here. But I have proof. I was in the hospital on that date, and I have proof that I've been shot in the arm, and my arm is messed up still. I'm trying to get everything situated. I was walking, and I got pulled over by the police, and that's why I'm here today. And now I have, I know I was out on pretrial services already, that I was given the attorney.
So you didn't contact your attorney and tell your attorney?
I didn't have none of the paperwork. I'm on the streets homeless right now. I wasn't able to locate my mom. I don't have a cell phone. I was trying to get all that stuff through the DES, and I've been waiting. I don't have a solid address. My mom moves around a lot, so I went and lived with my grandmother.
So what you're telling me is that you're not able to keep up with your stuff.
I can keep up with my stuff. I needed time when I got out the hospital to get things done, and the process of me getting the things that I needed done for myself without getting help by nobody, because I wanted to do it myself. I was put out my mom's place. She didn't want me to stay there, so I left, and I live with my grandmother now.
I'm just wanting you to know that you wanted to speak, right? And so I've been listening to you, and you've told me 3 different things.
I told you that I got shot.
You told me that you got shot. You told me that you're homeless and that you were not able to keep up with your stuff. Then you told me you're with your mom. Then you told me that you're with your grandmother.
If I'm living, I don't have my name's not on the lease, so of course I'm homeless. On nobody's lease. So I feel like I'm a guest.
But at the end of the day, sir, like,
but I have a place to go.
When I have to decide what to do.
I do have a place to go, though.
When I have to decide what to do.
Yes, ma'am.
Is based on whether or not you're going to appear for your court date, and everything that you're telling me is that you have a bunch of instability. So you were released on pretrial services before, and you didn't show up to your court date. And I understand that you're saying that, that you were in the hospital and something happened, but I'm not. It's been almost 2 months because we're at May 27th.
I didn't even.
And so how have you not been able in 2 months to be able to reach out to your attorney, to let your attorney know that something was going on and to file something with the court to get it taken care of? You had 2 months to do it.
I did, you're right. And
you didn't.
I can't dispute that at all. I can't. And you're absolutely right. But I didn't know I had court on the 1st.
You did know that you had court. You did know that you had court. You appeared in court and you received a release order. So you did. That's
the order that I got released on for that first court appearance I came to, and then I got released. When I got released, I was out. The same day I was out, I had got in an altercation with a couple individuals. And
I just think probably.
I got shot and I got placed in the hospital.
Okay. I do not find that there is good cause, just given the fact it would be one thing if this was a couple of days after you got shot or a couple of days after you got out of the hospital, but it's been 2 months. And everything that you're telling me right now does not bode well that you will appear for the court date. So I'm going to go ahead and affirm the bond. And I'm affirming the order. That's what the judge ordered this bond. This is not my order. It is the judge who you were appearing in front of and you did not show up to court. So I think that that's all that we have to talk about at this time. So if you will please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you.
Thank you. What is it?
Art, waiting for you. Arthur, you can take that with you. It's your copy.
Hello, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Kylie Casca, 13098.
You are here today because you have a probation violation warrant. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You do have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on June 3rd at 8:30. The warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. If you are able to post bond, you must comply with the release conditions as well as appear for your court date. Failure to do so would result in the forfeiture of any bond you post. A warrant would issue for your arrest and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I have to advise you of. If you have no questions for me regarding release, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Hawk, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Torres, will you please have a seat in the chair? Carlos Hawk. Is Carlos Hawk here?
Yeah. Your Honor, Carlos might still be out this week. I'll find him as soon as my assistant officer gets here.
Okay.
Torres?
Mr. Torres, will you please come to the podium? And Ms. Marshall, will you please have a seat in the chair? I'm sorry, Mr. Green, will you please have a seat in the chair?
Torres? No.
Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Paul Torres, August 23rd, 1987.
Thank you. You are here today because you have a probation violation warrant. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You do have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on June 3rd at 8:30. The warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $250. If you are able to post bond, you must comply with the release conditions as well as appear for your court date. Failure to do so would result in the forfeiture of any bond that you post. Another warrant would issue for your arrest and additional bond can be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of today. If you have no questions for me regarding release conditions, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Thank you. Mr. Green, will you please come to the podium? And Ms. Marshall, will you please have a seat in the chair?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, sir. Can you please tell me your first and last name and your date of birth?
It's Trenton Lee Green, ma'am. My birth date is 12/23/81, ma'am.
You are here today because a direct complaint was filed where you were charged with 1 count of possession of narcotic drugs, a class 4 felony, 1 count of possession of drug paraphernalia, a class 6 felony, and 2 counts of driving or actual control while under the influence of intoxicating liquor or drugs, class 1 misdemeanors. The date of these alleged offenses is June 22nd of 2024. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You do have a status conference hearing on June 11th at 8:30 and a preliminary hearing on June 13th at 8:30. I am going to release you to pretrial services, but you do have to promise to appear for your court dates. Do you promise to appear for those court dates?
Absolutely, ma'am.
You have the following release conditions. You will participate in drug and alcohol testing and monitoring. That's what I'm highlighting. Failure to comply with your release conditions or appear for your court dates would result in a warrant issuing for your arrest and a bond would be imposed.
Yes, ma'am.
So this takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of today. If you have no questions for me regarding release conditions, if you will step to your left, the officer will give you.
I would like to say something. I'm pretty proud about it, though. I've been clean for almost a year now. I've got myself off fentanyl and everything.
Congratulations. Keep it up.
I appreciate it, man.
Ms. Marshall, will you please come to the podium? And Mr. Eisen, if you'll please have a seat in the chair.
Right there.
Jacqueline Marshall. Ma'am, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Jacqueline Marshall, 10/02/2000.
You are here today because a warrant was issued when you failed to appear for a court date. An attorney was already appointed to represent you in this matter. You will have a status conference hearing on June 3rd at 8:30. Your warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $750. If you are able to post bond, you do need to make sure you appear for your court date. Failure to do so would result in the forfeiture of any bond you post. Another warrant would issue for your arrest and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of this evening. If you have no questions for me, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork. Do we by any chance have Mr. Hawk? Is he in here now?
Yes, he is here.
Okay.
Would you like him next?
Yeah.
Hawk.
Hello, sir. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
My name is Carlos Hawk. My birthday is 9/26/1971.
You are here today because you have a probation violation warrant. I did appoint an attorney to represent you. You do have a probation revocation possible disposition hearing on June 3rd at 8:30. You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $500. If you are able to post bond, you do need to make sure that you comply with your release conditions as reflected on this order, as well as appear for your court dates. Failure to do so would result in the forfeiture of any bond you post. A warrant would issue for your arrest, and additional bond could be imposed. So this takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of today. If you have no questions for me regarding your release conditions, if you will step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork.
Thank you.
Mr. Eisen, if you'll please come to the podium.
Edward. Come on, buddy.
Hello, sir. Hi. Can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth? Can you hear me okay?
Not very well.
Okay. We're going to help you with that.
I've got that too.
Mr. Eisen, step back from the microphone. Just step back.
Step back a little bit, Edward.
All right. Are you able to hear me now?
No, I think it's
Okay. Can you please tell me your first and last name and your date of birth?
Edward R. Eisen, 2/21/1960.
Thank you. You are here today because you have a warrant out in West Mesa Justice Court. Due to the nature of the charge, you're not entitled to court-appointed counsel today. You do have an arraignment hearing on June 10th at 8:30. I am going to release you today on your own recognizance. You do have to promise to appear for your court date. Do you promise to appear for your court date?
I do.
If you fail to appear for your court date, another warrant will issue for your arrest and a bond will be imposed. Do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so that takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of today. If you have no questions for me, if you'll please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork.
Okay, thank you.
Here you go.
Well, it's the interpreter matters now.
Should we do Phil Jones?
I moved him to the bottom.
Already. Do you want to also give him in here, or we do one at a time?
You do them one at a time.
Okay. Number 9.
Do you want me to do the other one? Do you want me to still have like the interpreter matters just moved outside so I can do the two? Let's just do that because then we can. Okay, so if we can, for the interpreter matters, because we're having difficulties getting an interpreter, can we have them step outside to step outside and we'll do the ones that are at the bottom.
Okay. So let me remove the interpreter matters and just set them out there for a second. All right. Lydia, Louis, and Daddy.
Mr. Jones, if you come back into the courtroom. Okay. So if you don't mind stating your first and last name and date of birth again.
Philip Jones, 2/10/1980.
So you were here today because a grand jury charged you with the following. 1 count of custodial interference involving domestic violence, a class 4 felony, and 1 count of child abuse, domestic violence, a class 4 felony. I did find probable cause as to both counts. The date of these alleged, I didn't find probable cause. I'm going to start over. I'm sorry. This is a grand jury complaint. The date of the alleged offenses is January 3rd of 2024. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter.
All right.
You will have an arraignment hearing on June 4th at 8:30. The grand jury warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $10,000. However, I am aware that you are in custody in the Nevada Department of Corrections. So you will be returned to DOC upon the completion of this case. The payment of bond would not secure your release because of that DOC hold. That's essentially everything that I needed to advise you of. If you have no questions for me, if you will step to your left, officer will give you your paperwork.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Mr. Cohn, will you please come into the courtroom? Can we help?
righty.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Cohn, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Jacoba Cohn, 4489.
You are here today because a grand jury charged you with one count of sexual assault, a Class 2 felony, another count of and then one count of sexual abuse, a Class 5 felony, and one count of kidnapping, a Class 2 felony. The date of these alleged offenses is October 1st of 2023. I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter. You do have an arraignment hearing on June 4th at 8:30. The grand jury warrant had a secured appearance bond in the amount of $150,000. If you are able to post bond, you will be released to pretrial services on electronic monitoring. You cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime, you cannot initiate any contact with the alleged victims, and you cannot possess any weapons. Failure to comply with your release conditions or appear for your court date would result in the forfeiture of any bond that you would post. This takes care, and a warrant would issue for your arrest and additional bond could be imposed. This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of. If you have no questions for me, if you will please step to your left, officer will give you your paperwork.
So can I say something?
Due to the very serious nature of these charges, and I will also advise you that I don't have any information. I just have what the grand jury charged you with, and then the judge that signed the warrant and the recommended release conditions coming out of that.
Services provided.
So I can't answer any questions, and you probably don't want to speak on whatever's going on. I've appointed an attorney to represent you, and I would just advise that really any questions you have, you direct them towards your attorney. This is a recorded proceeding.
And the interpreter is
Okay. We now have the interpreter.
Okay, super. Let me go gather them, and I will be right back.
So we're just grabbing for people who require an interpreter. May I ask the interpreter for your name and ID number?
Hello, yes,
Hello,
my name is Josue. My name is Josue. My ID number is 1985.
And are you certified to interpret court matters?
Yes.
If at any time that you find that you are not able to continue, will you please just let the court know?
Sure thing.
Thank you. Lydia Sanchez, if you will please come to the podium.
Sanchez, Lydia?
Ms. Sanchez, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
I need an interpreter.
Mr. Josue, are you able to hear the court? Is he still there? Mr. Josue, are you able to hear the court? Mr. Interpreter? Are we muted?
No, we are not.
Okay. We lost the interpreter.
Okay.
So just hang tight.
Okay, do you want to just sit right over here?
She can, if she doesn't mind standing, she can. I'm hoping that we'll get somebody relatively quickly.
The interpreter has disconnected. To reconnect with your interpreter, press or say 1 to connect with. Goodbye.
Yes.
Our website. Superior.
Is the interpreter able to hear me?
Yes.
Is the interpreter?
I'm able to hear.
Yes. Okay, and can you tell me your name and your ID number?
Fernando, ID 7965.
Okay, so we're going to start now. Ms. Sanchez, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Señorita Sánchez, ¿podría dar por favor su nombre y apellido y su fecha de nacimiento?
Lidia Favela Sánchez, agosto 6, 1987.
Lidia Dovela Sánchez, August 6, 1987.
You are here today because a direct complaint was filed.
Está aquí el día de hoy porque se archivó un reclamo directo.
You were charged with 1 count of transporting or selling narcotic drugs.
Fue acusada entonces con un cargo de transportar y vender drogas.
A Class 2 felony.
Siendo 2 ofensas.
Sir, that you're not interpreting what I'm saying. I said that that was a Class 2 felony. Are you certified to interpret court hearings? Hello?
Yes, I am, but I did hear you a little bit. I am, but I did hear you a little bit far away. I heard that you said 2 felonies. I apologize.
No, I said it was a Class 2 felony.
Okay. Es una ofensa de clase 2.
1 count of possession of narcotic drugs for sale, a Class 2 felony.
Un cargo de posesión de drogas por venta y que es una ofensa de clase 2.
I appointed the date of these alleged offenses.
Señalo la fecha de estas acusaciones.
Is January 5th of 2018.
Es el 5 de enero de 2018.
I did appoint an attorney to represent you in this matter.
y señalamos un abogado para representarla en esta situación.
You will have a status conference hearing on June 3rd at 8:30.
Usted va a tener una audiencia el 3 de junio a las 8:30.
You will have a preliminary hearing on June 5th at 8:30.
Y va a tener una audiencia preliminar el 5 de junio a las 8:30.
The direct complaint had a secured appearance bond.
Este reclamo tiene entonces una fianza, un bono
In the amount of $125,000.
en la cantidad de $125,000.
If you are able to post bond,
Si puede pagar esa fianza,
you must follow the release conditions on the paperwork.
tiene que seguir las condiciones de liberación en el papeleo
And you must appear for your court dates.
y tiene que presentarse para su fecha de corte.
Failure to do so
Entonces lo hará.
will result in the forfeiture of any bond that you post.
El hacerlo resultará en la
A warrant will issue for your arrest. Hello? Hello?
The interpreter has disconnected. To reconnect with your interpreter, press or say previous conviction.
Is the interpreter able to hear the court?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm able to hear it.
And can I have your name and ID number?
My name is Luis, interpreter ID 399205.
Thank you. Failure to comply with your release conditions?
Ok, señor, entonces, si no
Well,
hace nada con esas condiciones, sorry,
That's okay. Will result in the forfeiture of any bond that you post.
entonces ya no se podrá agarrar ningún bono o ningún préstamo.
A warrant will issue for your arrest.
¿Sí? Y también se dará una orden de arresto.
And additional bond could be imposed.
Y también puede que agarre un vínculo anterior.
This completes everything that I needed to advise you of.
Esto concluye todo de lo que necesitaba decirle.
If you will please step to your left, the officer will give you your paperwork.
Si pase a su izquierda, el oficial le dará su papeleo.
Thank you. Mr. Luis Hilsamano, if you'll please come to the podium. Sir, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
Puede darme su primer nombre y apellido y fecha de nacimiento.
Luis Mario Gil Samaniego Anaya, del 16 de enero de 1998.
February 16th, 1988. Luis Amaya.
Luis Anaya. Luis Mario Gil Samaniego Anaya.
Is the interpreter still there?
Yes, President, I'm sorry. Did you want me to repeat his name one more time?
You have to, you have to say everything that he says.
Okay. Luis Mario Sintonía Amaya.
And I just want to confirm, I thought he said that his birthday was February 16th, 1998.
Febrero 16, 1988, ¿correcto?
Your birthday is February 16th, 1998?
Febrero 18, señor, 1998 o 88.
No, 98, el 16 de enero del 98.
January 16th, 1998.
You are here today on a new case?
¿Usted está aquí debido a un caso nuevo?
You were charged with one count of possession of dangerous drugs for sale, a Class 2 felony.
Ok, sí, señor. Entonces, ¿usted estaba hoy en posesión de drogas para poder vender? Esa es una clase 2, un crimen de clase 2.
Possession of a narcotic drug, a Class 4 felony.
Sí, y también estaba en posesión de una droga narcótica. Esa es una clase 4, un delito de clase 4.
Possession of a weapon by a prohibited person, a Class 4 felony.
También en posesión de una arma, un delito de clase 4.
Possession of a weapon in a drug offense.
Posesión de un arma en un evento de drogas.
and possession of a deadly defaced weapon, a Class 6 felony.
También en posesión de un arma peligrosa es un delito de clase 6.
I did find probable cause as to all of the counts.
Ok, entonces sí veo causa probable debido a todos estos eventos.
I did appoint an attorney to represent you.
Sí, voy a apuntar a un abogado para poder representarlo a usted.
You have a status conference hearing on June 3rd at 8:30.
También tiene una cita el 3 de junio a las 8:30 de la mañana.
You have a preliminary hearing on June 5th at 8:30.
También tiene otra el 5 de junio a las 8:30 de la mañana.
You have a cash-only bond in the amount of $10,000.
También tiene un vínculo que solo se puede hacer en efectivo de $10,000.
If you are able to post bond,
Okay, si usted puede poner su bono,
you must follow all of the release conditions on your paperwork.
tiene que seguir todo las condiciones de liberación que están en su papeleo,
Which includes you cannot possess any weapons.
que incluye no puede usted tener una posesión de un arma.
Failure to follow the release conditions Hello? Hello?
We're having interpreter problems, but we'll get it figured out, okay? So in a moment, we're having some technical difficulties.
Vamos a lograr otro interprete, es que los traductores se desconectan ellos mismos.
Okay.
Entonces, nomás parece ahí por un momento y de ahí más continuar.
Sí, es lo que le decían a los muchachos que... Okay.
Okay. Commissioner stated here to pass this, and we did have to give an
Is available on our website.
Is the interpreter able to hear the court? Is the interpreter able to hear the court? Is the interpreter able to hear the court? Hello? I think that I'm going, because this is, I think, the fourth or fifth interpreter. So I'm going to move these until at the 5 a.m., do we have a regular interpreter, or do I have to move it to the 8?
So, we have regular interpreters until the 8, only number 17, they sign out at 7:20.
So let's move number 21 to 8, to the 8 o'clock calendar with a note as to why we moved it. And I guess I have to do this one. Do we have to find an interpreter?
I don't know. We can try this one more time. If not, we can see how much later left they have. I'll see the solution.
Okay.
I don't know what to do. Well, I was just trying to get another. So these two are done? Yes, yeah, and then don't forget about the yes, he is done.
By last name.
Is the interpreter able to hear the court?
Yes, I'm able.
So I'm just going to pick up where I left off, where the last person disconnected. Failure to comply with your release conditions.
Sorry, is that the whole sentence?
I'm failure to follow your release conditions.
El fallar con las condiciones de poder liberarlo
Will result in the forfeiture of any bond that you post.
va a resultar en que le nieguen cualquier fianza que se le haya posteado.
A warrant will issue for your arrest.
O se va a hacer una orden de arresto.
An additional bond could be imposed.
Y también se le podría dar una fianza adicional.
This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of this evening.
Esto abarca todo lo que yo tenía que hacerle saber esta noche.
Okay, ¿puedo hablar?
It looks like you may have some questions.
Parece que tiene algunas preguntas.
I would just advise you that your question should only be related to your release conditions and not about your case.
Si tienen una pregunta.
Que las preguntas que hagas sean solo relacionadas a su condición de libertad o de liberación y no a su caso.
Ok. Para libertad, ¿cuánto ocuparía de fianza?
How much do I need to pay for the bond?
$10,000 cash.
$10,000 en efectivo.
Ok. ¿Se pueden dar en cualquier día cualquier día de la semana o otro día? Porque a veces cuando no traía droga en venta y otro traía marihuana, pero traía que había comprado en bobo. Yo había comprado 2 promociones de bobo nomás, es la que traía, pero no traía en posición de venta.
Can I pay it a different day or another day? Because I was not having, I was not selling drugs. I had marijuana with me, but it's the one that I purchased for my own.
Okay, I'm going to stop the interpreter from talking. I just said to not talk about the case.
Bueno, le acabo de decir que no toque el tema del caso.
Ok, sería todo entonces. La próxima cita, ¿cuándo la tendría, oiga? La próxima audiencia.
That will be all. So when will I have my next hearing?
June 3rd at 8:30.
El 3 de junio a las 8:30.
Ok, está bien.
That's okay.
Thank you, Madam Interpreter. That completes everything that we needed to do this evening.
You're very welcome. Thank you for using our services. Goodbye.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought we moved him. He's not on my calendar anymore. You scratched him out. I thought you moved him. Yeah, so we can try to get another one. I'm sorry. I saw that. Did you have to re-put him? Do you have to take the line out, or can I still go in? Okay, if we get an interpreter? Okay, let's see if we can get an interpreter.
This case one. Okay.
I think she was good. She's pretty probably. That's okay.
Yeah, I usually do 9, 10, 15 minutes. Yeah. I don't know. That was really
Superior Court, stop.
Hello, is the interpreter able to hear the court?
Yes, I'm able.
Thank you. Sir, can you please state your first and last name and your date of birth?
¿Podría dar su nombre, apellido y fecha de nacimiento?
Mi nombre es Jani Antonio Villarreal Calderón. 9-24 de septiembre de 1977.
My name is Hani Antonio Villarreal Calderón, September 29th, 1977.
I just want to confirm that his birthday is September 29th, 1977.
Bueno, solo quiero confirmar si su fecha de nacimiento es el 29 de septiembre del 77.
Sí, el 9-24.
I apologize, this is the interpreter speaking. It was September 24th, 1977.
Thank you. You were here today because you have a warrant out of West Mesa Justice Court.
Bueno, hoy está aquí porque tiene una advertencia de la corte, perdón.
I did appoint an attorney to represent you.
Le asigné un abogado para que lo pueda representar.
You have an arraignment hearing on May 30th at 8:30.
Tiene usted una audiencia de arreglo para el 30 de mayo a las 8:30.
You have a secured appearance bond in the amount of $50.
Tiene usted un seguro de fianza de la cantidad de $50.
If you are able to post bond,
Si usted puede pagar esa fianza,
you must appear for your court date.
tiene que presentarse, perdón, el día de la corte.
If you fail to do so,
Pero si no se presenta,
any bond you posted
cualquier fianza que usted pague
would be forfeited.
va a ser inválida.
And a warrant would issue for your arrest.
Y se generaría, perdón, una orden para poder arrestarlo.
And additional bond could be imposed.
Y se le podría aplicar una nueva fianza.
I did order the bond in such a low amount because I am aware that you have a matter pending in our superior court.
Le puse la fianza en el ventilo amount porque sé que tiene algo que arreglar, perdón, en nuestra corte superior.
This bond will ensure that you get transported for that hearing.
Esta fianza lo que hace es asegurar de que usted pueda ser cubierto con su transporte.
This takes care of everything that I needed to advise you of this evening.
Esto abarca todo lo que yo tenía que aconsejarle esta noche.
If you have no questions for me,
¿Tiene alguna pregunta para mí?
please step to your left. That officer will give you your paperwork.
No.
Bueno, el oficial le va a dar su papeleo.
Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you so much.
Okay, I think that we are now all done for this. No, not yet. So this concludes our 8 p.m. initial appearance calendar. We stand in recess until 11 p.m. and the interpreter may be excused. Thank you.
Thank you for calling. Good night.
arms out of your sleeves, okay? When you come in. All right. Get ready to stand up. All right. Stand up. All right.
Very good. Please be seated.
Get the beds turned on. It was number 11, right? Okay.
All right, good evening. Good evening, everybody. This is the 11 o'clock calendar. It's May 27th, 2025. I will tell you what the court orders for the taking of DNA and fingerprints that were given on the first calendar of this month shall apply to all matters on the calendar. When you're called up, stand behind the podium and give me your name and date of birth. Oh, no interpreter matters? No interpreter matters, right? Okay. All right. I'm not going to give you all your release conditions. They'll be on your form. I'll tell you this, at a minimum, it'll say no driving without a valid driver's license and no drugs without a valid prescription. For those of you who I do set a security appearance bond, you can go through a bonding company. On some of the walls, there's names and numbers of bonding companies. It's my understanding they collect calls. If you can't find that information, you can ask one of the officers to give you that information for you. All right? Since we have two attorneys on this case, we'll call it first, okay? How do you pronounce your client's name?
Tazioli.
What?
Tazioli.
No, your client's name.
Reeks.
Reeks. Got him right next now. Mr. Douglas Reeks. Okay, sir. First of all, your name and your date of birth, please.
Douglas Ricks, 08/25/2003.
Okay. The stage is appearing virtually. Please identify the record.
Ashley Stetson on behalf of the state.
Okay, and counsel.
Yes. Good evening, Your Honor. Andrea Tazioli for Douglas Ricks.
And I know she did file a notice of appearance, and it's listed in the record now.
Thank you.
All right, sir. First of all, you're appearing with your attorney. Is Tazioli, right?
Yes.
Tazioli, and she'll be doing talking for you today. Okay, and in the future also. So if you have any questions, speak with her, but stand away from the microphone so you can have a private conversation. And afterwards, if she wants to talk to you, she can talk to you back there. Okay. All right. So you are here on a grand jury indictment for 2 counts of manslaughter, Class 2 felony, 3 counts of aggravated assault with deadly weapon, dangerous instrument, a Class 3 felony, and 1 count of criminal damage, Class 4 felony. All right. First of all, let me just tell you you'll have an arraignment, not guilty arraignment, set at 175 West Madison on June 4th at 8:30. It'll be on your paperwork, and obviously you'll coordinate that with your attorney. All right. Ms. Tazioli, I just want to let you know that generally on grand jury indictments, we don't, at this stage, amend it. So obviously you can make a record, and obviously you can make your application in front of your assigned judge. But I just want to let you know it's a pretty much formality that we just adopt what another judge or commissioner has adopted upon the return of the indictment. But you're certainly welcome
both you and the state are welcome to do it. I'll tell you what, since I've already told you that, let me just get the state on the record in regard to it. Ms. Stetson?
Yes, Your Honor. The state is just asking for the bond to be affirmed, Your Honor. The state has very limited information on this other than what was outlined in the warrant. Your Honor, as Your Honor is aware, grand jury warrants or grand juries are heard by a specific judicial officer. That officer hears the information and then makes a determination on a warrant amount, as well as if a warrant is necessary, Your Honor. In this case, a judicial officer did hear this case and did determine that the $250,000 secured was appropriate, and the state would be asking for that amount to be affirmed. As Your Honor stated, there are two charges for manslaughter and three charges, I believe, for aggravated assault. So that bond does seem appropriate given the nature of the allegation. Thank you.
Okay. I would note, having done this myself before I retired, it's something that the grand jury indicts, and the judicial officer is not privy to that, and then basically they get information from the county attorney in regard to that. So it's still one-sided in that respect. However, in regard to the warrant, there's certain information I ordinarily wouldn't have in regard to an indictment, and I'm just, for the sake of, I don't know if you've seen the warrant, have you?
I haven't, Your Honor.
I'm going to read it to you, just as a courtesy, okay?
Thank you.
And explains why. The defendant was the cause of a single vehicle collision crashing through a cinder block fence and into a residential property. The defendant was impaired, it's a very small writing, with a blood alcohol concentration of 0.102%, approximately 2 hours and 15 minutes after the time of the collision. Further investigation revealed the defendant was traveling approximately 82 miles per hour, 1.5 seconds prior to impact with the cinder block wall. He had 5 occupants in his vehicle, 2 were declared deceased, and 3 suffered serious physical injury. I won't mention names. 1 person suffered from a spinal cord injury fracture, pneumothorax, liver laceration, splenic laceration, and small bowel injury. Someone else suffered from a tibia/fibia fracture that required surgery. Another person suffered from spinal fractures that resulted in paralysis from the waist down, and she can no longer walk. The defendant has been cited twice for speeding prior to this collision in 2022 and 2023. In addition, was cited as recently in November 2024 for going approximately 76 miles per hour in a 45 mile per hour zone. Okay, so I just want to let you know what the court is seeing also. So, you know, with the information that we generally don't just deviate from what has already been determined. Okay.
Your Honor, can I just lay
go ahead.
Okay. Yep. As the court is aware, this incident arose from a motor vehicle accident, and reviewing the factors set forth in 13-3967. We believe that the bond requested is very high and that electronic monitoring is more appropriate in this case, Your Honor. Mr. Ricks has no criminal history. He was born and raised here in the Phoenix area. He lives with his mother and stepdad in Peoria with also his brother and sister. His dad and stepmom live close by in Surprise. Like I said, his whole life he's been here. He went to Sandra Day O'Connor High School. He works full-time as a mechanic. He doesn't do any drugs, Your Honor. He's a citizen of the U.S. We've known about this incident since April of 2024.
Right, April 14th.
Correct, yes. After this incident, he retained counsel. He finished school. He continued working. He has not left the state. He's had no victim contact, Your Honor. My firm has been in contact with the Peoria Police Department for the last year, as well as the county attorney's office. In January, Peoria PD obtained a search warrant for his DNA. I facilitated that collection at my office. Several weeks ago, I spoke to the assigned DCA, who is Elena Rupert, about the charging decision in this matter. And just today, Detective Smith from Peoria contacted me, and my client immediately self-surrendered to the Peoria Police Department. He is not a danger to the community, Your Honor. While I understand that the state is seeking a high bond, I believe electronic monitoring will secure his appearance, will protect the community, and to the extent that a monetary bond is required, Your Honor, Rule 7.3 requires the least onerous bond possible to secure his appearance. My client makes $16 an hour as a mechanic, so a secured bond of something like $25,000 with electronic monitoring is more than sufficient in this case.
Okay, thank you. I do want to affirm what you had said. According to the information I have here now, he does not have a criminal history.
Correct, yes,
okay.
He does not.
Criminal history, okay. And some people may believe that alcohol is a drug, but that's, I don't want to nitpick in regard to that. Obviously, you have some, looking at the fact that it's an offense date of April 14th, and you're saying you arranged for self-surrender. Obviously, these are arguments you certainly can make. I don't know who it's going to be assigned to, but you've made your record here now, and obviously you're going to make it then, but I've already indicated what the policy of this court is in regard to it, but I certainly want to give you that courtesy.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. So you'll begin, they'll give you the paperwork, and I don't know if you want to talk to them.
That would be great, Your Honor. Thank you.
So they'll accommodate you on that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Shah Roebuck. By the way, counsel for the state, are you appearing on anything else?
Yes, Your Honor, the state is appearing on one more matter.
What number is that, so I know?
17.
17. Let me just make that notation. Oh, okay. Just note that. Actually, 17 is with 31, by the way. Okay. All right. So your name and date of birth, please.
Chicago, about 10/11/76.
Okay, sir. You are here for the charge of one count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon or dangerous instrument, a Class 3 felony, one count of possession of drug paraphernalia. I would note, by the way, you've got a warrant out of California. You have another one out of Kansas, but on a probation violation, but it's only in state. You have a warrant out of Mesa City of Mesa, also. I am appointing a lawyer for you. Sir, your court dates will be at 175 West Madison Street at 8:30 in the morning for a status conference on June 2nd and a witness preliminary hearing on June 5th. Obviously not to use any possessing drugs without a valid prescription. And I also find that in CR 2025-120378, you have been released on another felony, and I do find probable cause to believe you committed these felonies, and so pursuant to Rule 7.2b, you will be held without bond at this time. You're going to have an evidentiary hearing on June 3rd at 1:30 at that 175 West Madison Street, and your lawyer will explain to you what that's about, and to determine whether bond can be set in this matter. But in the interim, you'll be held without bond. So step to your left, please. Clay Reyna. Good evening. I guess your name and date of birth, please.
Rainer Clay, 52785.
Okay, you got a total of 4 matters. 4 matters. 3 of them are probation violations out of, I think it's out of Pinal County Superior Court. The one you have here in Superior Court is also a probation violation. I know you're on probation for possession of dangerous drugs, Class 4 felony. You're alleged to have violated terms 3 and 5. I'm appointing a lawyer for you, okay? Now, your court date for a revocation arraignment hearing will be at 201 West Jefferson on June 3rd at 8:30. If you somehow were able to get out, you need to contact your probation officer within 72 hours. Can't possess any weapons, can't possess or consume any alcohol, no drugs without a valid prescription, and if you get out, contact importantly, the probation officer within 72 hours. Bond was set by another judge in the amount of, bond is set in the amount of $1,000. Now, on your 3 out-of-county probation violations, all at Pinal County Superior Court, well, I said they're all based on probation violations. Same terms in general in regards to that. Let me just talk about CR 2022-00049, 2023-02475, and 2022-02271. They have warrants for you on based on that probation violation, and they've indicated that pursuant to Rules 7.2C and 27.6, that you'll be held without bond on those. Now, most likely, in your court dates, they're going to appoint a lawyer for you. You haven't appeared there yet and had an attorney appointed for you, so they'll appoint one for you at the next hearing. Your court date there, right now it says May 30th at 8:30. Is that right? May 30th? Her arraignment down there is May 30th. Seems pretty far away. I know, that's okay. But obviously, they'll probably handle your other matter here first, and you'll talk to your lawyers about this because that's what it says here, May 30th. All right. I'm gonna do some checking on that, and so I may come and change it afterwards after the court. It may have a different date, but I'm gonna personally check on it because I think that's pretty far off. Okay, so you know. Okay. So in the meantime, you get the $1,000 bond here, but then you're being held without bond on Pinal County. That's what they've decided. That's between you, your attorney, and your judge down there. Okay. All right. So step to your left, please. All right. Daniel Solis Hidalgo. All right, sir. Evening. Your name and date of birth, please.
My name is Daniel Solis Hidalgo. It's November 17, 2004.
Okay. Okay, sir, you are charged with leaving the scene of an accident with death or injury, Class 2 felony, and Class 1 misdemeanor, I guess. An accident with serious physical injury or death, Class 1 misdemeanor. I'm appointing a lawyer for you. And also, you also have a probation violation in 2024-106-666. I'm appointing a lawyer for you. On the probation violation, your next court date. By the way, I said May 30th. I was thinking we're in May, that's why. I mean, that was June. That's not a month off. So that's fine. You're going to be June 3rd at 201 West Jefferson at 8:30. Now, on the other case, which is the new case, you'll have a court date of June 3rd at 8:30, but that'll be at 175 West Madison. So I'm appointing lawyers for you on both matters. They'll be in different places. So you'll talk to your lawyer, eventually be probably put in one place, okay, in one courthouse, and one, all right, and you'll have one lawyer probably representing you. Yeah.
So I have 2 separate charges?
Okay, no. Well, you have 2 charges, but you also have a probation violation.
Can I ask for what?
Sure.
Because every time I was...
Oh, 1 second. You ask me a question, I'll try to answer it for you. It was teletype. You're on probation for possession of narcotic drugs for sale. Okay? That's a Class 2 felony. Now, what?
County attorney's appearing on.
I know that. The county attorney is appearing on this, and Ms. Stetson is appearing virtually. Ms. Stetson, I know what your recommendation is, but I'm also going to make a finding in regard to the probation violation. You're certainly welcome to make a statement.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. For the record, Ashley Stetson on behalf of the state. Your Honor, this is the allegations are that the suspect was driving back in February of this year when he failed to yield for a right turn. While doing so, he allegedly collided with a motorcyclist. The motorcyclist was taken to the hospital, and the victim later died. At that time, the suspect is alleged to have fled the scene. It wasn't until today, Your Honor, that the suspect was located. The state is asking for a bond of $50,000 secured with the conditions outlined in the written recommendation. As Your Honor stated, the suspect is on probation for possession of narcotic drugs for sale, and the state also believes he's on probation for misconduct involving a weapon as well.
I'm not aware of that, by the way.
State did look up his record in the state database, Your Honor, and the state did see.
You're right. By the way, you're right. He has the Class 4 felony, possession of useful weapon in a drug offense. Okay, I see that now.
Okay, so based on all that, based on the allegation, based on him being on probation, the state does feel that $50,000 secured is appropriate. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. So in regard to the new case, I know what the state is recommending. I already told you the court date. You should happen to get out, you have to contact your probation officer in 72 hours. No weapons, no alcohol, no drugs without a valid prescription. I'm setting the bond as a security appearance bond of $20,000. However, not $50,000. But in regard to your probation violation, is another story because you're on probation for a Class 2 felony and a Class 4 felony, and I'm finding pursuant to Rule 7.2C and 27.6 that you'll be held without bond because I believe there's a substantial likelihood you'd be sentenced to the Department of Corrections in regard to that. So you can talk to your lawyer, you can make a record to your courts and see if that can be changed. But at this point, you will be held without a bond on that. All right, so step your left, please.
And Your Honor, that does conclude the matters for the state. Can the state be excused?
Yes, you certainly may. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Hamm? Okay, yeah. Good morning, sir. Good evening, sir. Your name and date of birth, please.
Cedric Emerson, 12/23/79.
Okay, sir. You have three matters in front of me, 2 probation violations and a new charge. Looks like you also have a warrant out of Tennessee. I'll tell you what, I can look it up.
I've never been to Tennessee.
Let me just, I'll be right with you, okay? And let me see what I can find. Let me see what else I can find here. So I can't give you any more information because I'm going strictly on memory. Something like pipe.
I never even remember.
I don't remember, but they still have to confirm it anyway.
It hasn't been confirmed yet, so that's why you're not. It's not on the calendar right now.
Yeah, I never even heard of that.
Okay, I'm just telling you. Just
okay.
I'm just. So anyway. In regard to this, I know you have 8 prior felony convictions. The new case in 2025, 122194, you're in charge of theft and means transportation of Class 3 felony. I am appointing a lawyer for you. Your court dates will be at 8:30 in the morning for a status conference on June 3rd and a witness preliminary hearing at this time scheduled June 5th. That'll be at 175 West Madison. You cannot possess any weapons, no alcohol, no drugs without a valid prescription. If you were to get out, you have to contact your probation officer within 72 hours. Once again, I don't know what's going on. If there's a potential future of justice case, and I don't have any, I can't remember exactly what it said then because I thought it'd still be here.
Yes, sir.
It's not, okay? Anyway, bond on this is set at an amount of $5,000. I know the state was recommending a $10,000 bond, but I'm going to get $5,000. Now you have the 2 probation violations, 2019 157262, 2023 127214. In regard to that, both of them you're on probation for. Well, you have possession of dangerous drugs. You're alleged to have violated term number 1. All right, and you'll have a lawyer for that also. But this one, just like I told the other gentleman, you initially be in 2 courtrooms, 2 two attorneys, but it'll be combined most likely, okay? So this one will be, it's June 3rd at 201 West Jefferson. Let me just double check something. See, at this, why I don't want to double check. Now you say it's both at the same time, so I told you, wherever court they take you to, probably the one at 175 West Jackson, tell them about the other one so they don't issue a warrant for you on the other one because they can only be one place at one time, okay?
Right.
Okay, and make sure he or she knows about it, okay? In regard to the probation violations, bond is set on each one in the amount of $250. So your total bond at this point is $5,500. But as I said, there's always the possibility, and I only say it's a possibility. It's not a definite thing because they haven't confirmed the warrant. I think it's Tennessee, okay? But anyway, all right. So at this time, I want you to step to your left, okay?
So
Yeah,
that's
sure.
cash surety, a bail
It's a
bond?
secured appearance bond. You can go through a bondsman.
All right.
Okay, but bear in mind, I don't know what's happening with Tennessee.
And you haven't even been?
Okay, I don't know very much about it, so I'm just,
right.
I like to let people know about possibilities so they're not totally surprised, okay?
All right.
Okay. Walter Turner. Good evening, sir. Your name and date of birth, please.
Walter Turner, 21589.
25 or 215?
It's supposed to be 215, but I seen it 25 on my.
Yeah, I know that's what I have here, but we'll just have to leave it right that because we don't think we can change it, right? You can change it? Oh, she'll change it. Okay.
Okay.
That's why I make sure I thought I heard you say 215.
Yeah, I seen it on my door card too.
I'm appointing a lawyer for you, sir. Your revocation arraignment hearing will be at 8:30 on June 3rd at 201 West Jefferson. You're alleged to violate term 15. Let me double check that, by the way. Yeah, term 15. Okay, that's right. The conditions are you cannot initiate contact with the original victim on this case, okay? No weapons, you can't possess or consume any alcohol, no drugs without a valid prescription, and if you get out, contact your probation officer within 72 hours. Those are all definite requirements, okay? And bond was set by another judge in the amount of $2,500 secured appearance bond. Okay, so step to your left, please. Eric Dominguez.
This is Yonder.
Good morning, good evening, sir. Your name and date of birth, please.
My name is Eric Dominguez, and my date of birth 3785.
Okay, sir. So you have charged with 2 counts of shoplifting, a class 4 felony. I'm appointing a lawyer for you.
Yes. Thank you. I have a family. I have my.
Okay, let me speak first. Let me tell you. Your court dates will be June 3rd for status conference, and witness preliminary hearing at this time scheduled for June 5th, both at 8:30, 175 West Madison. You're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime or have any contact with alleged complainant or witness.
Yeah.
No, sir. Give me 1 second. I'll give you a chance to speak in a second. I just want to double check one thing. Okay, what would you like to say?
I got my wife and daughters. I'm having a good life. You know, I never thought that I was going to get caught up with something like that. Can I please get an OR to go?
Okay, sir. One thing I'll tell you, 3 prior felonies and many failures to appear. So the state was asking for a $7,500 bond. I'm setting bond for you in the amount of $1,000 secured appearance bond. You can go through the bondsman. So be $1,000.
So that means that we're kidnapped again.
And failures to appear, sir. All right, step to your left, please.
All right, we're kidnapped.
Jeremy Varn.
Bring your arms to you, please. Stand behind the great podium, please.
Also, is he wearing lead chains? He was limping.
Sorry?
Is he wearing lead chains or something?
No.
Okay, so if you're having trouble walking, you can lean on the podium if you'd like. If stay awake and pay attention. You understand? Give me your name and date of birth, please.
Chairman Vaughn. Purchased May 6, 1996.
What year?
1996.
All right. You are charged with aggravated assault, Class 5 felony, escape, a Class 5 felony, resisting arrest, obstructing a highway, disorderly conduct, and criminal trespass in the 3rd degree. I'm appointing a lawyer for you. Your court dates will be at 8:30 at 175 West Madison Street in Phoenix for status conference on June 3rd and a witness preliminary hearing on June 5th. You're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime, initiate contact with the alleged victim or victims, or any complainant, alleged complainant, or witnesses. No drugs without a valid prescription. Bond is set. And I will tell you this, the state was asking for a bond of $7,500. I'm saying bond the amount of $1,000, security appearance bond. Step to your left, please.
Yeah.
Sir, I need you to step out. Step out. There's nothing.
I'm not drinking it. What are you doing?
Have a seat. There's no drinking in court. Have a seat.
So I'll wait a minute if you need a moment?
Yeah.
Okay.
Step out now.
Wow. I'd be afraid to live up there. See the picture?
Yeah.
Wow. I sure if I could. All set?
Yes.
Okay, very good. Anything ever comes up, you can, let me know. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Anytime you need a break, just let me know.
Yeah, I didn't want him to throw the game.
I know that. I know.
Yeah, we're good.
Senor Caballo?
Yeah, behind the great phone.
All right, so your name and date of birth, please.
Samuel Carvalho, 21393.
Okay, you got two matters before me. One of them is a bench warrant. That's in CR 2024-125673 on organized retail theft, possession of narcotic drugs, both Class 4 felonies, possession of drug paraphernalia, Class 6 felony. You already have a lawyer in this matter. You'll be back at 175 West Madison Street at 8:30 for a status conference on June 3rd and a witness preliminary hearing set for June 5th at 8:30. You can't return to the scene of the alleged crime, cannot initiate contact with the alleged complainant or witnesses, and your judge set bond amount of $500. Now, you got an arrest warrant in 2024-140966, and so I will tell you this, the warrant was actually for $1,000, but I'm reducing it to $100. I'm appointing a lawyer for you at the same court dates. Okay, so you have two bonds being court June 3rd and June 5th. All right, step to your left, please. Anton Connerly. So your name and date of birth, please.
Anton Connolly, 10/16/74.
Okay, sir. You've got a total of 3 matters before me. 2 more probation violations. Another one is an arrest warrant. In CR 2024-154246, you're on probation for possession of drug paraphernalia. In CR 2024-103332, you're on probation for possession. It may be possession of dangerous drugs. I can't read my writing. In both of them, you're alleged to have violated terms 3 and 5. I appoint a lawyer for you on both. And,
In Hart?
your court date will be June 3rd at 8:30 at 201 West Jefferson for your revocation arraignment hearing. If you get out, contact the probation officer in 72 hours. No alcohol, no weapons, no drugs without a valid prescription, and that'll be for both. Now, on your, on your probation violation, another judge set bond for you of $100 secured upon each. And then you have a new case, which is an arrest warrant, for 2 counts of possession of narcotic drugs, 1 count of possession of dangerous drugs, 1 count of resisting arrest. The warrant was for $1,000. I've reduced it to $250. Appointing a lawyer for you on that. And that one, you'll have the same thing. You'll talk to your lawyer. You do it for a status conference on June 3rd at 175 West Madison at 8:30, and a witness preliminary hearing on June 5th. So tell your lawyer about the other ones.
Your Honor.
You don't have a warrant for that. Yeah, you haven't appeared on that one, sir. That's why I'm reducing the bond, and you're being held on the other one.
I was already on probation.
What?
I was on probation.
Yeah, I know. You still are.
So, I mean, how do I have all these other cases?
Well, you have 2 probation violations, and you have another case that's alleged to have occurred on January 4th of this year. And so they issued a summons, I believe, and you didn't show up, so a warrant was issued. But I'm reducing the bond on that.
I did show up for court. I've been to court. I was at court.
You've been at court on a probation violation. So I'm just talking about the arrest warrant. Okay? You want to know, must know about that?
I showed up to all my court hearings.
No, you never appeared on that one. They issued a warrant because you didn't appear pursuant to the summons. Okay?
They ran those 2 together.
No. They'll eventually be put together. Step to your left, please. David Caswell, step over there.
This is right.
Your lawyer will explain it to you, sir. All right, sir, your name and date of birth, please.
David Caswell, July 3rd, 1997.
Okay. Okay, sir, and your date is July 3rd, 97?
July 3rd, 1997.
Okay. You're here on a probation violation warrant. You're on probation for possession of drug paraphernalia. Appoint a lawyer for you. You'll have your arraignment at 201 West Jefferson at 8:30 on June 3rd of this year. Your alleged violated terms 3, 4, 5, 15. Your judge set bond amount of $250, security appearance bond. Get out, contact your probation officer within 72 hours. You're not possessing any weapons, you're not consuming any alcohol, and no drugs without a valid prescription. All right? Step to your left, please. Tabitha Hart. All right, your name and date of birth, please.
June 16th, 1996, Tabitha Hart.
Okay, you're here on 2 probation violations. You're on probation for possession of dangerous drugs. You're both your alleged violated terms 3 and 5. You'll appoint a lawyer for you for both. You'll have your court date on June 3rd at 8:30 at 201 West Jefferson. If you get out, contact your probation officer within 72 hours. You can't possess or consume any alcohol, no weapons, and no drugs without a valid prescription. I said your alleged violated terms 3 and 5. Another judge said bond for you $200 each, so a total of $400 security appearance bond. So you get out, make sure you make your court dates, and contact your probation officer. Step to your left, please. All right, Abdirahman Hassan. Good evening, sir. Your name and date of birth, please.
Abdirahman Hassan, January 11th.
A little louder, please.
Abdirahman Hassan.
Yeah, and your date of birth.
11/1/2000.
You mean January 11th or November 1st?
January 1st.
January 11th, 2000?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
That's not even my real birthday.
Okay, 1 second. So you are charged with aggravated assault, a class 6 felony. I'm appointing a lawyer for you. Don't lose your paperwork, because you do at 175 West Madison Street at 8:30 in the morning for a status conference on June 11th, and a witness preliminary hearing at this time is scheduled for June 13th. You're not to return to the scene of the alleged crime, not to initiate contact with the alleged victim or any complainant or witness. You have to contact you have a case manager?
Yeah.
Make sure you contact the case manager within 24 hours of your release from custody. Now, you're going to get a packet from the officer. Make sure you read it and contact pretrial services. Make sure you comply with them. Okay, because I'm releasing you to pretrial services. So if you don't keep in contact with pretrial services and be in compliance with their requirements, you can have a warrant and be back here. All right? You'll be getting out in a few hours.
All right, thank you, bro.
You're welcome.
Have a good day, man.
Okay. Also, I have to take care of a blood warrant, so give me 1 second. Because those have. We're up to Tyra Ross. Okay, Tyra Ross. All right, your name and date of birth, please.
Tyra Ross, November 5th, 2003.
Okay, you have a domestic violence charge of criminal trespass, Class 6 felony. I have appointed a lawyer for you. You're going to be at 175 West Master Street for a status conference on June 11th at 8:30 and a witness preliminary hearing on June 13th. If you don't show up, a warrant will issue for your arrest. All right?
Yes, sir.
There's a number of conditions I have for you. You cannot return to the scene of alleged crime. You cannot initiate contact with any alleged victim or victims, complainants, or witnesses. You have to get an alternative residence. You can return one time to the scene of alleged crime, one time with a police officer in a civil standby to pick up your personal effects. But I am going to release you on your own recognizance, so you'll be getting out in a few hours. Just don't return.
Could you repeat that? I didn't hear you.
Which part? The part about going with a police officer? You can go back one time with a police officer on a civil standby to pick up your personal effects. Otherwise, you can't go back to the scene.
Okay.
Alleged crime. All right, step to your left, please. Emmanuel Lupascu. So your name and date of birth, please.
Emmanuel Lupascu, January 28th, 2003.
You're charged at the North Valley Justice Court. The address of that Justice Court will be in your paperwork. Make sure you show up. You're charged with reckless driving, Class 2 misdemeanor. You'll be in court on June 10th at 9 o'clock at that Justice Court. Be smart and show up so you don't have to keep coming back here. I'm releasing you on your own recognizance, so you'll be getting out in a few hours. All right, step to your left, please. Ashley Goodpaster. Your name and date of birth, please.
Ashley Goodpaster, 11/05/2002.
You're charged with leaving the scene of an accident and failure to stay at an accident, both Class 1 misdemeanors. I can't appoint a lawyer for you at this time. You'll be at the Maryville Justice Court. The address will be on your paperwork on June 11th at 11 o'clock in the morning. You can't initiate contact with the alleged victims, but you better show up for court. I'm releasing you on no recognizance. Don't lose your paperwork, all right? You'll be out in a few hours. Step to your left, please. I'm going to say ISIS or Isis Ruiz Navarrete. Your name and date of birth, please.
Isis Ruiz, July 3rd, 1986.
You got a warrant at the Goodyear City Court, possession of drug paraphernalia, and a failure to appear. Your next court date will be June 11th at 1 o'clock at Goodyear, and your address will be in the paperwork. You better show up. I would assume you have not enjoyed your time here, right? You have not enjoyed your time here, have you?
No.
Okay, so that means, because the judge there wanted a bond on you, but I'm going to release you on recognizance. You'll be getting out. But if you're smart and you show up for court, you won't have to come back here. So I hope you learned your lesson. I'm giving you a break by letting you go.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Take your left. Go to your left, please. Harlan Richards. So your name and date of birth, please.
Harlan Richards, 9/23/77.
Okay, sir, you're here on a warrant at a West Mesa Justice Court. I think you've been there before, so you know where it is. Okay, but it's on your paperwork. I'll show you the address anyway. And 2 counts of DUI. One is .08 or more. One's the generic DUI. Looks like a failure to pay. So a couple things I want to talk to you about that. Be there on June 10th at 8:30, and I'll release you on no recognizance. They want a bond of $300, but I'm letting you go. The guess is, if that's what all it is, it's a failure to pay. You better start paying it, because this happened 14 years ago. And like I said to this young lady, I assume you did not enjoy your time here. Be smart, even borrow it, make that court happy and get it over with. You understand?
Okay, thank you.
Step to your left, please. Joseph Zaverick. Hold on 1 second. 1 second, Nat. Hold on 1 second. No, we're not ready. I'm not ready for him yet. Let's just call the house calls. Marcus Sheehan. He was combative. That's why he's not here. He's got domestic violence charge at a Goodyear City Court for assault, criminal trespass, and first degree and criminal damage. Lawyer will be appointed for him. His next court date, which will be June 11th at 1 o'clock. He's released on his own recognizance. He can return one time with a police officer and civil standby to pick up his personal effects. He cannot consume any alcohol, cannot return to the scene of the alleged crime, can initiate contact with the alleged victim or victims. Jasmine Hopkins is in close custody, so it can't be brought into the general population. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. She's got a warrant at a White Tank Justice Court on assault, a Class 3 misdemeanor. Her next court date will be at the White Tank Justice Court on June 10th at 9:30. I can't initiate contact with the alleged victims, but I'm giving her a break and releasing her on her own recognizance. All right, now, Mr. Zaverick. All right, sir, your name and date of birth, please.
Joseph Zaverick, 06/28/1961.
All right, so you're on probation for Class 4 felony failure to register as a sex offender. Your next court date will be 201 West Jefferson on June 3rd, 8:30. If you get out, contact your probation officer within 72 hours. No weapons. You can't possess or consume any alcohol. No drugs without a valid prescription. You're not to have any contact with any minors. Bond was set by another judge in the amount of $2,500 security appearance bond. All right.
Your Honor.
Yeah.
May I request waive the bond and be OR'd?
You can request it, but it's denied. You'll speak to your judge about that. Your judge said bonded $2,500. All right. Step to your left, please.
Thank you.